What's going on, y'all? Your boy Darius, great here back in for the video. This time I'm here with my review, my thoughts of WrestleMania 41 Night 2, Night Dos. Just ended here today, about 5 minutes ago. I don't know, I've lost track of time. I really need to sleep. Anyway, Night 2 of WrestleMania 41 is in the books, and I have to say, just overall, much better night than Night 1. Night 1 was just kind of okay for me. I posted my thoughts on Night 1. You can go watch that video if you haven't seen it yet. But I thought Night 1 was okay. The main event of Night 1, amazing, outstanding. Night 2, Night 2, I thought pretty much all the way through was fantastic. Main event, it's kind of like a opposite of Night 1 there. But speaking of course, the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. I think they still call it the Undisputed title, even though there's another world title. Anyway, the match, I mean, there were some good moments in the match. Thought it was okay. I'll say this, it was a good match. It was a good match, not a great match. But I think it was largely hampered by the finish. Largely hampered by, oh yeah, Travis Scott shows up and walks down and gets involved, and it's just like, it's Travis Scott. Look at him. Like, look, dude's not exactly the very most imposing of people, you know. But I'm just like, really? Like, he's okay. I get it. He's a big wrestling fan. He did the theme. He was there at Elimination Chamber, but even that, when you go back and watch the John Cena turn in Elimination Chamber, it's still the fact that Travis Scott is sitting right there and he's involved. That's still just very weird. It just doesn't fit, doesn't belong. Very much the same case here. But that wasn't even the worst part of the finish to me. That wasn't even the worst part of the finish. The worst part of the finish is that when faced with the opportunity to blast Cena in the face with the WWE title, as Cena was about to do to him, Cody just wouldn't do it. Cody just couldn't do it. And that made him look like an asshole. Like that, I got flashbacks to when Vince McMahon used to book and write his baby faces, like the baby faces that weren't Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock. Like pretty much all the baby faces circa, I don't know, freaking 2009 on to when he stopped running creative. Baby faces were pushovers. Baby faces were stupid. You know, they would just they would be presented with situations like, oh, well, the heel can do this, but I can't do it. You know, because the heel did it, no, I have to do the right thing. It's just, I can't bring myself. Even though the heel was about to hit me with like a chair or something, I can't bring myself to do it. It was that same thing with Cody. Cena was literally inches away from hitting him in the face with the title. But yet, when it's his turn, I can't do it. Like he was just, I can't do it. He's my hero. I can't do it. It made him look like an asshole, dude. And the entire match, by the way, he was getting booed, largely. And I think that was just down to the fact that it's John Cena's last WrestleMania. Everyone wants to see him get 17. He should get 17. And he did get 17. But it's the way that he did get 17 that was just kind of underwhelming in my opinion. Because it made Cody look like an asshole. This is the same, like, if you look back at Cody Rhodes' WWE title reign since winning it, right? Gradually, I won't say that he's acted more heelish, but gradually he's been more aggressive. He's been more willing to go further. And I won't even say take shortcuts, but he's been willing to go to lengths that your normal, average, smiley babyface won't. For example, when he faced AJ Styles at Backlash, and they're like, I think it was an I Quit match. He threatened he had AJ, I think he had AJ handcuffed, right, to like the corner, and threatened to chuck some steel steps at his head, and that forced AJ to quit. You were about to murder AJ Styles. You threatened him with murder, pretty much. I mean, I know it's a bit of an exaggeration, but something like that. You threatened to do that to him. You tried to do it to him. Okay. Fast forward to his match against Kevin Owens, where Alabama slammed him through a ladder. And then after the match, as Sami Zayn is checking on his broken best friend, Cody, who was like, I think he had already went to the ramp, decides to go all the way back, get on the announce table, standing over Kevin Owens, raise the title, and celebrate and taunt over his broken body. Not very babyface of you, Cody Rhodes. Like, these are just some actions that he's taken during his reign. And I feel like it was kind of a lead up to this moment where he'd be like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit you in the face of the title because you were going to do it to me. I'm no pushover. Instead, he came off like a pushover, and he got hit in the face. Or he got hit in the balls and hit in the face of the title. And Cena won. And again, happy that Cena won. You know, it was definitely the right call to have Cena win. The way that he did was kind of lame. That's just my opinion. Also lame, Cody Rhodes' entrance. But a lot of the night 1 entrances were lame. Night 2 had the much better entrances, except for Cody's. Dirt bikes, Cody, really? Like, the Iron Man skull mask thing was cool, but Cody Rhodes' WrestleMania entrances should always have some type of epic prelude. That's just the standard, okay? The best match of the night was absolutely the women's triple threat, Io versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, that opened the show. Shout out to Rhea Ripley for coming out as the Batman who laughs. That shit was awesome. That was great. That match was fantastic, and I believe it broke a 27-year, I want to say curse, but like, a Japanese wrestler has not won a WrestleMania match in 27 years since Taka Michinoku, I think, right? I want to say that is like the accurate stat. It's been like 27 years. That would have been 98. So, great on Io. I mean, I had Bianca penciled in. I had her picked to win the match. But I'm glad Io did, because Io deserves to be more than just a transitional champion. Hope she holds that for, I don't know if I want to say a long time, but I hope she gets a pretty lengthy run with that title. I hope she gets to have that title and have Damage Control around her where she's leading it now. Because, like, when she had it before, when she had the other title, Bayley was still leading Damage Control. Io was still kind of like, you know, behind her. But, like, now you bring Damage Control back together. I think Kyrie's back from her injury. I don't know about Asuka yet, but I'd love to see Damage Control back, you know, full force, and with Io strongly leading as a champion. And honestly, I think you could do a very interesting story, because Bianca was getting booed in the match, and she was kind of showing some heel tendencies towards the end. And Bianca, as we know from her time at NXT, is a wonderful heel. People have been waiting for a heel turn for quite a while, and I think heel Bianca will be amazing. Honestly, heel Bianca should team up with heel Naomi. I think that'd just be great. But I think what would be an interesting sort of role reversal, if you recall, Bianca's, like, one of her longest running stories was her rivalry with Damage Control and Bayley and that stuff. How cool would it be? Roles are swapped. Bianca's the heel taking on a face Damage Control. I think that could be some interesting stuff. And as for what Rhea does, I have no idea. Just keep her away from the title for a while. Whenever she gets the title, and I don't want to put that on her. It's on booking. It's on Triple H and creative, definitely. Whenever she gets the title, the title just kind of becomes a prop, kind of becomes meaningless. It kind of takes a heavy backseat to whatever else she's got going on. So I hope she stays away from the title for a little bit. First match of the show, though, by far, was AJ versus Logan Paul, which, I mean, it wasn't even like a bad match. It was just a boring match that I'm not going to remember very much, except for the fact that Karrion Kross got involved, and Karrion Kross is great. But that, you know, ended up costing AJ somewhat, and AJ lost to Logan Paul is something that I feared could happen, but I really hoped it would not have happened. But it did happen. And in case you haven't figured it out, I'm not a Logan Paul fan. When he was first getting into wrestling, I was like, wow, this dude's pretty good. Then time went on, and like you kind of find out that his matches are only that good because he practices them like months in advance. And like I was like, okay, he's pretty good at getting heel heat, because in real life he's a piece of shit. But the more piece of shit things he does in life, the less I want to see him on my TV screen. So I'm just like, altogether, I'm over him. I just don't care. I do not care to see Logan Paul ever again. The Drew versus Damian Priest street fight was pretty fun. That finish, violent as hell, with the Claymore and the chair in the corner. That stuff was great. Yeah, I have no complaints about that match. I think it was really solid, really good stuff. Both those guys, like, the Mania builds for like almost all the matches, for most of the matches, have been kind of tepid. It's been a whole thing for weeks. People have been like, the Mania build kind of sucks. But Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, they're actually trying. They're giving it their all. And it reflected in their match. I thought it was pretty good. Had the weird Doom integration with Drew McIntyre's entrance, but Priest came out with, I think his name is Kenny something. I forgot. I guess he's like the lead guitarist of Slayer, who I think also did the guitar on Priest's theme. He came out and played, and I'm pretty sure it was a great, cool moment for Priest. The Intercontinental Championship 4-way was tons of fun. Some pretty good false finishes there. I had Dom picked to win the whole thing because I was just like, if you look at it this way, Braun Breaker's reign has kind of run its course. Love Braun Breaker as like an in-ring talent. Character-wise, need some work. Penta, as cool as Penta is, as great as Penta is, I feel like if Penta's going to win the Intercontinental Championship, it needs to be in a singles match, which probably seems much more likely now, considering who now has the title. And I was looking at, Finn, obviously. I was like, the two people I want to most win this match, Dom number 1, Finn number 2. Dom number 1 because I love Dom, does great work, and I'd love to see him with a title. But also because I figured if Dom wins, that will just infuriate Finn. You can actually make Judgment Day interesting again, because it has not been interesting in quite a long time. It's only like recently the Dom and Finn stuff, and when this match was sort of created, it's just like, okay, they could do some really cool to make Judgment Day, I was going to say great again, I'm not going to say that, but make them fun again. And, I guess conversely, Finn could also have won, and that would have still made things interesting. And plus, I love Finn Balor, and I think that WWE does not value him enough. Dude takes L's after L's. Finn equals pin. Okay? You listen to Finn, you get pinned, sort of the thing with him. So I would have been very happy to see him win the title. But ultimately, Dom did. That was probably the happiest I ever could have possibly been with the outcome of the match. It was great. Love it for Dom. And I think, obviously, that would set up Penta to take it off Dom, because like Dom tried to recruit Penta in the Judgment Day, and that whole thing's been going on. I think that's probably what we're going towards. As far as what Braun's gonna do, I think Braun is an easy shoe-in for Money in the Bank. He's gonna win that thing, and whenever he catches it in, whether it's on Jey Uso, whether it's on Cody Rhodes once he gets the title back from Cena, because he will, he's gonna sprint down that ramp. It's going to be probably like a stadium show or something. He's going to sprint down the ramp with that briefcase in hand. It's going to be a glorious sight. Probably spear the dude, at full speed. Probably do a freaking 450 flip. Be amazing. The women's tag title match, I originally had Liv and Raquel retaining, but then yesterday Bayley got taken out, and I was like, oh, it's Becky. Becky's coming out. I don't know if there were any spoilers about that at all from like the dirt sheets that Triple H hates so much, but as soon as that happened, I'm like, damn, it's gonna be Becky. A buddy of mine thought, it could be Paige. I'm just like, nah, it's gonna be Becky, especially because Becky had just said like a week ago, like, oh yeah, I'm kind of done with wrestling. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm just like, wrestlers tend to lie about that type of stuff. And it was absolutely Becky. And plus, it made narrative sense because Becky and Lyra had history. I want to say Lyra trained at the same school that Becky trained at. I want to say that. And I think in NXT, Becky lost the NXT title to Lyra, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, they're both Irish. So it's just like, I'm like, there's an easier path there for Becky to be Lyra's partner. And that's exactly what it was. Thought the match was fine. Good to see Becky back. Good to have Becky back. I haven't really missed her, but at the same time, having her back now, hopefully, because the last time she was here, like towards the end of it, you could tell creative really didn't have anything for her. It was just kind of like, it's Becky Lynch. People love her. The man. Yeah, it's kind of, spinning the wheels a little bit. But hopefully, now that she's back, actually give her some interesting stuff to do. Don't be like Alexa Bliss, like Alexa Bliss came back at the Rumble. Huge pop, huge ovation. Kind of done fuck all since then. Becky tonight, huge pop, huge ovation. Hopefully, don't have her do fuck all. Just have her do some vital, interesting stuff. And the thing that I'm going to leave last here, even though it wasn't the main event, probably the most shocking moment across. Well, Seth and Heyman was pretty shocking, even though I kind of called it. But now, this is by far the most shocking moment of the entirety of WrestleMania. Randy Orton's mystery opponent. There were various names out there. Could be Aleister Black. But then on SmackDown, they firmly said no. Aleister Black, or at least who appears to be Aleister Black, is going to be showing up on the SmackDown after WrestleMania, the 25th. It's okay. It's not Aleister Black. It's not Aleister Black. A name that popped up, Jeff Cobb, because he recently signed with WWE, or has been signed for a while. Jeff Cobb, I'm just like, I don't think Jeff Cobb's a big enough name that will get a big enough reaction at a WrestleMania. Even all the sweaty marks that are there, I feel like a lot of people won't really get excited for Jeff Cobb. Just wouldn't make sense. Take him off the list. Rusev. People loved Rusev. Okay, people loved Rusev. Rusev Day. And, you know, in AEW, as Miro, the Redeemer stuff. Great. People generally really like Rusev. Rusev would get a good pop. And I think he and Randy had like a feud at one point. I could see it being Rusev. But I was like, yeah, it's probably like second on my list. Number one on my list was Nick Aldis. Because I just figured it'd be the coolest thing in the world. Dude, you get Nick Aldis, who is still, mind you, a jacked man, is a year younger than Cody, can for sure still wrestle. I don't know why they don't have him wrestle. I'm like, it could definitely be Nick Aldis, and that would be tons of fun. But it wasn't Nick Aldis. It was... My jaw hit the floor. Joe Hendry was the last person I was expecting. Like, when the doors opened on the stage, when the doors opened, I was looking at the silhouette. I'm just like, is that Aldis' silhouette? And then that shit said,
say his name and he appears.
What? Of all the people, what? Joe Hendry. That's wild. That's crazy, dude. TNA World Champion Joe Hendry was at WrestleMania and wrestled Randy Orton. Dude has merch right now. A non-WWE contracted talent has merch on WWE Shop right now. That is insane. Like, Joe Hendry at WrestleMania, insane. And did he win? No, he got RKO'd while doing his his turnaround spot, which surely had to be his idea because I don't think Randy Orton would know about that stuff. Like, I could just see him, as they're talking about it, be like, oh yeah, and then I can do my turn, and then you can RKO me while the camera is focused on me. It'd be so cool. It'd be so great, and it really was. It was a great spot. And then after the match, Randy did the turn himself and did the thing. Randy just seemed like he's having a ton of fun. I know he said, I think he recently signed a 5-year extension, and he said if possible, he wants to sign another 5-year one after that. We could potentially have, freaking 10 more years of Randy Orton. How old is he now? He's like, dude, he might retire at like Ric Flair age. How old is Randy Orton right now? Randy Orton's 45, dude. 55-year-old Randy Orton hitting RKOs. Sounds insane. His back, I know his back got, repaired and stuff. Surely his back's not gonna be able to take that anymore. But yeah, that was great. Great moment. Overall, I think night 2 was better than night 1. I think WrestleMania 41, if you're putting both nights together, was solid, carried heavily by night 2. Was it better than last year? Absolutely not. Last year was just a special thing of beauty that I don't think they'll be able to replicate for some time. Like if last year's WrestleMania was their Avengers Endgame, I feel like this year's WrestleMania was like it's Multiverse of Madness. I was gonna say No Way Home. Like, nah, not even No Way Home. Dude, that's also something like really super special. I wouldn't say this WrestleMania was super special. But Multiverse of Madness was a pretty good time for me. So I'd say, this was kind of your Multiverse of Madness, this WrestleMania. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below of WrestleMania Night 2. What you think of the show as a whole, Nights 1 and 2. Predictions-wise, I think I ended up going something like 9-5, right? I'm looking at it. Yeah, I went 9-5, so not a bad record. But Night 2, definitely, I was like taking L's on the predictions, man. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Leave a like for the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.